Welcome into a brand new episode of WSI TV. Enjoy the show. Put your hands together for the first ever live episode of WSI TV.
Wow, thank you. Hello and welcome into the first ever live episode of WSI TV. For those of you who are going to be watching at home, we are here on the Sunday hosting the annual Wealth Summit, and we have a beautiful crowd in front of us, don't we, Jordan?
That's exactly right, Sean. I'm sure you guys enjoyed yourself last night. Again, you're a part of WSI TV history right now. This is our first ever live episode.
Yeah, we're really excited to be up here. We'll probably be jumping ahead, getting all weirded out because we're so excited today. Well, for any of you guys who don't know what WSI TV is, maybe at home you're watching for the first time, Jordan, can you just explain what is WSI TV?
Yeah, I mean, we call ourselves the income channel, right? Our goal is to twist certain things to put money in your pocket. You know, we want to find those extra streams of wealth and help you guys get that cash in your pocket like you rightly deserve. Absolutely,
and in addition to WSITV.com, as a lot of you guys already know, you can find us on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com, type in WSI TV, hit the subscribe button. That's where you're going to get fresh content at least a couple of times a week, where we're bringing you a lot of fantastic information like you're about to see today. So let's move on to our mission.
Yeah, definitely. We want to put the power of wealth back in your hands. That's our goal here. Again, as you know, you see a lot of news headlines that may muddle things up. We like to keep you up to date with the latest wealth building secrets. We like to spin those headlines, spin the insider secrets, so you can make cash from it, because that's what we're all here for, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can we get a hell yeah? All right.
Oh boy. Yeah, keep it coming. One of our favorite ways to do this, to put money in your pockets, is by exploiting the establishment. We're talking about the big bankers, the one percenters, the elites on Wall Street. These are the guys who've been taking advantage of us, of you guys, of us, for far too long. It's time to level the playing field, start using their strategies against them. You know, take their secrets, start using them to make money for you guys. That's what we're doing here. And we like to have a little fun. You know, we're making money all the time using these strategies. It's fun making this money. That's why if you've seen some of our episodes before, you might see us with a nice glass of whiskey, just celebrating a trade or something like that. It is 9 o'clock in the morning, so we'll hold off on the whiskey for now. But we will get into a little bit of fun just a little bit later on. For now, though, we want to get into basically our first secret of this episode. We're not just going to talk about why it's time to stop losing money and how to do that. What about if you never lost your profits ever again? Let's get into that, Jordan.
Right. A lot of people do this backwards, right? A lot of you guys might do this backwards right now. Maybe you manage your upside and let the downside take care of itself. That's exactly how you lose money here. What we're going to teach you today shows you how to automatically manage the downside and let those profits rein in by themselves. Again, automated. So you're managing the downside so you're not losing those profits ever again.
Yeah, and especially for those beginners out there who may not have gotten started in stock trading or investing or anything like that. The big thing we're talking about here is a stop loss and how to use it. But first, we can just answer, what is a stop loss? It's basically just a trading tool. It's going to automatically close you out of a position or stop you out of a position if a certain number is hit. So if I buy a stock at $100 per share, it jumps up to $120 per share. If I then set my stop loss at 115, as soon as that stock price dips down to 115, I'm automatically closed out of the trade without doing anything myself, and then I'm just left with those profits. I just automatically get those profits in my account. It's as simple as that.
Right, and we want you guys to forget everything you've heard about stop losses. They're not as complex as they seem. You know, you may have heard 10%, 20% stop losses, but why would you want to lose that much of your money? We set our stop losses at 5%, and once it hits that, we're out.
Yeah, again, we're making it incredibly simple. We're also about to show you in a second how we're using this alongside our systems in a very cool way. You also need to make sure you're taking that entry position into account. Okay, so as you'll see, we'll have a perfect entry price using our system that you're going to get here later today at the Annual Wealth Summit. So if we want to get in at $100, but right now the stock is at $103, we're going to wait to get in at 100. That's what we base our stop loss on, not what it's at now, but whenever we get in.
That's exactly right. And we want to raise our stop loss as the stock climbs. So you get in the stock at $100. Your initial stop loss is at $95. Once that stock raises to 105, you raise your stop loss with it to $100. And there you go. You could not lose a single cent on that trade.
Yeah, and let's take a quick look at an example. For anybody who hasn't seen a stock chart before, don't worry. In just a few minutes here at the Annual Wealth Summit, Jim is going to be explaining every part of this. You're going to be a pro at this in maybe an hour's time from now. This is just a simple stock chart, and you can see up over on the left side, we're showing you the entry point using a system we're about to get to later on this morning. We entered this at $8 per share, where that blue circle is. So what we would have done right there is set our stop loss just 5% below our entry zone, right? From then on, we are just keeping our stop loss under that curvy blue line you see going up the chart there. That's what's called a moving average. Jim, again, is going to explain this for anybody who doesn't already know. But all we're doing is keeping our stop loss under that moving average the entire way up. So again, like Jordan said before, we're managing the right thing. We're managing that downside and letting the upside take care of itself. Right,
and I want you guys to play along right now. You know, just play along with me. Pretend this is your money. Envision you got in on this stock at $8. When it gets up to $17, what do you want to do? You want to get out. It's natural. You want to get out. But right there, you're managing the upside. And again, we said don't do that. So get out at $17. You made over 100%. Fine. But we're looking for bigger gains than that. You're following the system. You follow this all the way up, right? And look, you get out. When it dips below that moving average, 5% below, and you've made a 208% gain. Now, I don't know about you, Sean, but 200% in my book is much better than 100%.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Absolutely, yeah. That's exactly right where that red circle is up on your chart right now. That's exactly where you would have gotten out automatically using that stop loss trick, okay? So this is something very important we're going to use over and over, and you need to use a stop loss with every single trade you ever make. That's exactly what we do. But let's move on to the next sort of secret we're giving away here in this episode. We're going to talk about position sizing, and also we're going to get to how even with just winning 4 out of 10 trades, you can triple your money. Okay, don't let that scare you at all. 40% is actually a terrible record. We're going to be getting more like 70 and 80% success rates with our system, as you'll see in just a little bit. But again, even if you're losing more than you're winning, you can still make a ton of money whenever you're doing some of these things.
Right, and again, this is all about sticking to that system. This special trick, position sizing, it makes equal risk across all positions. You know, because if you lose 5% on a $100 trade, you know, you've lost $5. But if you lose, and then you lose 20% on a $1,000 trade, you've lost $200. So we want to keep that equal with this trick.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very important part. Keep that in mind. You also need to first come up with an amount you can afford to lose. Okay, we never want to trade with anything that we can't afford to lose. Just use some common sense here. You know how much money you have, what you can't afford to lose. We're not going to lose this. Using our systems and everything we have this incredible success rate. But of course, you never want to trade with an amount you can't afford to lose. So let's just be smart about that. So what we're going to do is take that amount and divide it by 10, okay? So only 10% maximum will be in any one trade.
Right, and pairing this trick with the stop loss trick, each of those positions, those 10 positions, you know, they only have a 5% risk, and that's it.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's just taking care of that downside and then never putting a limit on the upside, letting things go up as much as possible. This 40% winner's trick we're talking about, where you can make a ton of money even if you're losing more than you're winning, and again, we won't be. This won't work unless you do follow everything we just talked about on this one slide here in this episode, okay?
Right, and I'm going to repeat this over and over again, right? You need to manage the downside and let the upside take care of itself, because it will take care of itself. As you saw in that chart, you know, 200% gains, much better than a 100% gain. Again, you might be happy with a 100% gain, but letting the upside ride, getting that 200% gain, that's really why we're all here.
Yeah, we're going bigger every chance we get, and just why put a cap on it? There's no reason. But let's go ahead and we're going to get into a quick game right here. So I need you guys all here at the Annual Wealth Summit to play along with us. Again, we're going to show you this 40% winners trick. And let's go ahead and just as an example, say we are trading right now. We're making every trade starting with $10,000. Okay, so we're going to make 10 trades, play along at each one. Go start us off.
Right, so you've got your $10,000, and I really need you to envision this money as your own, because it's easy to, to trade with paper money, but envision this money as yours. And we're going to go into the first trade, right? We lose 5%, 9,500. How does that make you guys feel right now? Come on, This is the first live episode. We need to let those on YouTube know that you're here. Not good, right? We move on to the second trade, another 5% loss. Starting to get that sinking feeling, right? Yeah. Third trade, another 5% loss. What are we doing here? Is anyone still here with me? Does anyone want to stick to this system and continue trading? Show of hands. All right, we got one over here, yeah.
All right, we got a couple. So we have a couple with us still moving on. So let's move on to trade number 4. Okay, we lost the 4th one in a row here. We're now down quite a bit. We've lost some good hard-earned money. But again, that stop loss is closing us out at 5% each time. So again, still, who's with me? Is anybody getting back in? Do we want to do anything different? We have a few in the back. Okay, so trade number 5. Things aren't going as planned, right? I mean, we have our system with a stop loss. It's closing us out right now. But we are sitting on something like a $2,200 loss right now. So a lot of people at this point are thinking a few different things. A lot of you have already just bailed. I think you guys bailed on me on the first trade, so thanks a lot.
That was it.
Yeah. But some other people are going to say, well, maybe I'll just cut my capital that I'm using on these trades in half. I'll switch up my position sizing. But there will be a few of you, I know I saw some hands before, about people who are still staying in right now. Even whenever you're on this net loss of over $2,200, starting from that 10,000 bank we gave you, it's time to hang in there for all you guys who are still with me, the few of you guys who are still there with me, and we're going to move on here.
Right, we do our 6th trade, another loss. How does that make you feel? Remember, this is your money we're trading with here.
Yes, sorry, guys.
Is there anybody who's still with me? All right, we got a couple of you guys.
You've been with me the whole way. We appreciate that, sir.
For the rest of you, you're probably thinking, Sean and Jordan, what are you guys doing up here? We're just going to lose. And again, this isn't going to happen. This is the worst case scenario, right?
Yeah, we're not working with a 40% success rate on our systems.
Exactly, yeah.
So this shows you exactly what's happening, yeah.
We're down to $7,350, right, from $10,000. Let's see what happens next.
Finally, it pays off. Thank you for your loyalty, guys.
And who was by a show of hands, and I've got a very good memory here, who was still in this? All right.
Yeah, there are a few extra hands now, for sure.
We see that, yeah. So anyone who got out early, we're sorry, but that's human emotion getting in the way.
We're teaching you a very good example here, like Jordan said, with that human emotion, and you were managing that downside, right? You're letting that get in the way of what we're doing here with the system. Remember, this is just our first winner out of 7 trades now, a 50% gain, and we're already in the profit.
So who's getting out right now? Those of you who are still in, are you getting out?
Yeah, you're now breaking even. Is anybody? This is human nature again will tell you, man, I've been down a lot. Maybe my husband or wife is mad at me for losing some of this money. So I just need to make it back, and then I'll get out, and then I won't be in the doghouse anymore. Again, we're not going to do that. We're going to hang in there, right? A few people who are still with me, we're going to keep on going. And again, let me point out quickly, these 50% gains, as you're about to see with a bunch of, between the proof we're going to show you, with the systems we're about to reveal to you here at the Annual Wealth Summit, 50% gains are modest for what we're making using these systems. So that is absolutely what's going to happen. And we still had that 5% stop loss managing that downside for us. Well, let's go ahead and move on. It's time to reward you guys some more. You started with 10,000. We're moving on to just our second winner out of 8. You're up to $1,600 here. Let's just keep it going. Another 50% gain, 24,000. One more. Just 4 wins out of 10 trades. And you're up to $37,000, starting with a $10,000 bank.
Right, so those of you who are still with us, you feel great. If there is anyone still here in this trade with us.
Yeah, we definitely had
I
a
see
few
a couple
over
hands.
here. Congratulations.
37,000 from 10,000, not bad, right?
Yeah, there we go. I mean, you can just see how important this is to, again, keep the same amounts, not switch up your position sizing, using that stop loss we told you about, and again, sticking to a system, okay? Not everything, not 100% of your trades are going to work, but it's about sticking to that system as we're going to get to. But we do want to be cautious about a few things for any traders and investors we have.
Right, number one rule, remember, we're kicking emotions out the door here. Don't listen to the noise. Say you've just bought Apple stock. You see a headline, Apple failed to produce X amount of phones on their new launch. As a human being, that would make you, it would make you think you want to sell Apple stock. I don't want to be in that. But it's already in the charts. The analysts have already built that into the chart. So don't let that external noise, those headlines, get into your trading.
Yeah, that's going to be a big issue if you start to let that happen for you. There's so many so-called experts, so many talking heads on TV you're going to see that their entire industry is built on making you feel like this is too complicated for you, that the financial markets are too complicated and you need their advice or you need somebody else to handle your money for you. We're going to break that myth so badly today. It's going to be incredible. This is something we need you guys to know. This is going to be easy for you as we give you all the secrets we're about to tell you today. This isn't too complex for you. You're going to make money from this, and you don't need all the advice of all these so-called experts and talking heads on TV.
Right, and the next thing you need to be cautious about is what we call Fed speak. It's, the Federal Reserve. Whenever the Federal Reserve announces anything, the stock market might move a little bit, but ultimately it's going in one direction, and your trade is going in one direction. The Federal Reserve has ulterior motives, right? They want to mess with the stock market. They want to mess with the currencies. Don't let any Federal Reserve announcements get in your head and play with your trades.
Yeah, that's just more noise out there. We've also seen biased journalism become more and more prevalent over the past few years. Would you guys agree? I mean, it's not hard to see that. Everybody has an agenda, whether it's the writer writing the story, the company, the big news agency behind it all. Everybody's trying to twist something, turn it into whatever's going to help them. Whether this certain stock is about to explode or it's about to plummet. Again, this is just more noise. We are looking at the stock chart because the stock chart is going to tell us everything, and in particular, that price. That price is telling us exactly what that's worth right now.
Right, and don't worry if you've never seen a stock chart before. Jim's going to cover all that for you. But you may be asking yourself, why don't the experts analyze these charts? Why have I never seen a chart on the news? Well, it's because Wall Street is set up to be a foreign place for you guys. Talking about stocks is meant to be a foreign language because they don't want you to see how easy it is to get involved. Now, once we break down these stock charts, you're going to see how simple it is.
Yeah, absolutely, that's right. Okay, I think we talked about this yesterday at the annual Wealth Summit. For those of you watching at home right now, over 70% of the so-called experts can't even beat the market, you guys. You guys can. You know that from the one trade just yesterday, you're just buying the market. You're beating 70% of so-called experts. This is just to make it obvious how this industry that's built up to be too complex for you is having a hard time themselves. Most of these guys can't even beat the market, okay? So just be cautious, and then we're gonna use some of our tricks of the trade. This is how Jordan, Jim, and I, how we all trade.
Right, the biggest thing here, don't overthink it all. You're going to see very soon, again, and I just said this, how simple a stock chart is. We're going to break it down for you. It's not as complex as Wall Street and, the stockbrokers. I'm sure you've seen movies on the stock market. They try to make it complex. It's really not that complex. So don't let it get into your head. Don't overthink it. And just stick with us, because on the other side, there's big profits to be made.
Yeah, and the most important thing I'm going to say this morning is check your emotions at the door, okay? Emotions are a trader and investor's worst enemy. We know this from experience starting out, letting our emotions get in the way. That's whenever you start managing that downside, or managing that upside, whenever you're putting a cap on your profits, and then you're letting your losers continue to fall. It's that pride getting in the way. You know you're on a little bit of a loss. You don't want to take the loss, so you let it keep going, hoping it jumps back up to break even, but then it keeps going down and down and down, and pretty soon you're ruining your portfolio doing that. You need to check your emotions at the door.
Right. Greed, fear, pride, they all get in the way. You know, they overwhelm you. You want to make money, and then you start scrambling. Remember yesterday we showed you that $1 million, right? And you felt that hunger to get it, but you let your emotions, you know, most of you maybe let your emotions get in the way sometimes. You need to be mechanical. You need to become a robot with these things. The systems work how they work, and the second you try to mess with them, try to tweak it, that's when it all falls down. So be mechanical about everything you do with the stock market.
Yeah, you need to have a system, and you need to stick to it. Like we just showed you with that 40% winner's trick. When we came out way ahead, it's because we had a system, and we stuck to it. What we're going to do today is give you several systems making money right now, big money systems that we're about to get to here at the Annual Wealth Summit. But it's still up to you to be strict with that system, okay? To go step by step and use it exactly how it's supposed to, and make sure you're strict with something like your stop loss. That's how you're going to be profitable trading and investing.
And again, ignore that noise. You know, it's a part of your system. You need to ignore the noise, ignore the headlines, ignore the experts. They're going to get in your head, and they're going to play with what you're doing here.
Yeah. Well, with all of this in mind right now, guys, we are setting the stage to host this Sunday at the Annual Wealth Summit. But first, like I said, we're going to have a little bit of fun here. So we're going to have a special round of verses. You just want to quickly explain for anybody who doesn't know what verses is?
Yeah, absolutely. So any of you who haven't seen the show, we have a special section. We like to call it verses. Sean and I go head to head. We pick one stock each. You know, I had a few of you guys come up to me last night and say, does the rivalry carry out through the office? Well, absolutely it does. You know, when we pick stocks, we're going head to head. We're sitting there. Our desks aren't very far from each other. And it's always, oh, mine's up. I'm winning.
Every day.
The loser's always quiet, of course. But what happens here? The stock with the biggest gain wins, right? We don't just have our money on it, but we also have our pride on it, our egos on it. So there's a loser here, of course.
Right. This is the most important part, actually. Nobody wants to be the loser because the loser is going to suffer a punishment every time. I know a lot of you guys were talking about this last night, some of your favorite punishments. This is the most important round of verses we've ever done. We're going to do a live punishment here for you guys. So I know we have a volunteer in the audience. You ready to come on up? I know we have Walter picked out. All right, as Walter is making his way to the stage, we are presenting a brand new punishment that I think we're very proud of. We are going with some silly string here. Hopefully we don't ruin any suits or anything like that. But as we get Walter all set up, and we're going to have the loser move out to the middle.
Right.
I'm sure at this point you can tell as he's taking his jacket off. Luckily, I was able to defeat Jordan in our most important round of verses yet. Okay, what we're going to do, on 3, Walter, you're going to go ahead and start hitting Jordan with the silly string, okay?
Can I just say one thing? I did make a 5% gain, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sean only made a 6.
Not good enough.
I made a 5%. And I'm going to stand as far away from you as I can, Walter, because I don't want to ruin my shirt. Hopefully I get to wear it for the rest of the day.
All right, guys, help me count down from 3. You ready? 3, 2, 1, hit him. Yeah, like Jordan said, he did get a 5% gain right off the bat. Luckily, my ENTA got 6%, so we did get that punishment.
Walter.
We want to say, for everybody watching at home, thank you for watching. Walter, a special thank you for being up here to help us out with our most important round of verses. But as we conclude this episode, thank you all in the audience. We're going to go ahead and kick off this Sunday for AWS, right? Let's go ahead and get this thing started. As we get all this cleaned up, we'll invite Jim Sampson back up to get us started for the Sunday of the Annual Wealth Summit. All right, let's welcome up Jim right now.
Jordan, you look terrible.
I'm going to go clean up real quick.
Don't come to work dressed like that again, okay? We'll have words.
Thanks for watching the latest episode of WSI TV. Be sure to visit WSITV.com where you can subscribe for free with no contract and gain instant access to the secrets of self-made millionaires via the WSI TV Vault. So go ahead and claim this gift for free now at WSITV.com.